You're listening to RevOps Champions, a podcast created for B2B leaders to help you align your people, streamline your processes, trust your data, and leverage technology in order to grow your business. Let's talk about customer experience. Customer experience was a top priority shared by our podcast guests in the last year as one of the primary factors that drives revenue growth and scalability. We don't expect it to change anytime soon. Here are a few of our guests from the past year sharing their insights about the importance of customer experience and how it drives revenue growth and scalability. Let's take a look.
When you think about customer success, a lot of the time you think about the high-touch customer success, person to person. But if you are a big enough company, you have hundreds of customers, they can benefit from learning from each other, right? They can benefit from the conversations that they can have about the problems that they share. So putting them all together in a community. Communities don't just happen. You have to moderate them. You have to invest in them. But I think a good community software can help you unlock the power of the community, can help you understand the impact of the community to your business. So those are some of the tools I think that would be great.
You can use competition to kind of pit people. It's like the version like the whiteboard in the boiler room of like, so-and-so had one incentivizing behavior, not necessarily with comp, although you can do that too, but like creating incentives. I mean, I think all those things can kind of help. But I think that's the appropriate framework of thinking about it is like, if I'm trying to get people to change their behavior in any sort of a way, it requires a sustained, it's just like me, like learning to get up and go running every day. It's like, I gotta be motivated. It has to be easy. And then I need to I have the trigger in the form of like my shoes, my running shoes right by my bed. It's all that kind of stuff. I don't think just sending out an email and mandating it or running a one-time training is sufficient. I think that is 100% true.
I think ultimately your contact center is part of your overall customer experience, but it's not the customer experience, like the CX, right? That's the term that everybody likes to use. It's a critical touch point and one that gives you a lot of feedback that you may not get with other touch points. And I think that's why one of the reasons why it's so critical. But customer experience, there are companies that don't have contact centers. And that doesn't mean they don't have a customer experience. If they have a product or a service, then there is a customer. If they have customers, there's an experience there. And that experience encompasses really everything they know about the company. It encompasses their emotions. It encompasses their attitude, how they feel about your brand, which is part and parcel to NPS. But every touch point along the way helps inform how they feel about that and how they experience your brand. The contact center is critical, though, because it's the one where you often have an opportunity for service recovery. It's the one that happens when something goes wrong. And inevitably, things go wrong because no one's perfect. And so that's the touch point where you have an opportunity to really take a bad situation or a dissatisfied customer or confused customer or whatever they are, they're not ecstatic about you in that moment, and turn them into a brand ambassador, turn them into someone who goes, this company, they're amazing.
And of course, you can see how that becomes more complicated the larger a business becomes and the more layers of management and communication you have. But ultimately, though, it all comes back to solving for the customer, right? Some of the partners that are most passionate about their partnership with HubSpot feel that that's one of the things that really connects us to HubSpot's philosophy and direction, is that we're always solving for the customer. And we hear this a lot where the example that's given is there's a lot of software and technology that's used in businesses. And in most categories, we just use the software or the technology that we hate the least. But when it comes to HubSpot, people actually say, well, but HubSpot is different. We actually love to use HubSpot. That you don't hear that about a lot of SaaS or software technology products. But of course, that always reminds us that we're implementing the right software and integrating the right software when we hear that kind of feedback, because we cannot solve for our clients if HubSpot isn't able to solve for the HubSpot customer.
And I always say you can't fully improve the customer experience until you understand the employee experience. especially the employees that are directly interacting with your customers, you do need to understand what's getting in their way of providing a great customer experience. And sometimes that's technology, sometimes it's knowledge, sometimes it's process. There's, a lot of things that go into that.
Did you enjoy this episode?
Find more at RevOpsChampions.com.